All right, I'm recording, so whenever you guys are ready, you can start.
It's 5 a.m. and you're sound asleep. The jolting sound of your alarm clock brings you back to life. The first thing that runs through your mind is, what is that wonderful smell coming from the kitchen? Mom is cooking breakfast. So you quickly drag yourself out of bed, head to the kitchen, and prepare yourself for the highlight of the day. Biscuits, gravy, and scrambled eggs. But wait. Something is missing. Can you imagine this delicious, wholesome, farm-fresh country breakfast without a big, tall glass of America's favorite breakfast drink? Fresh from Florida orange juice. Unfortunately, this nightmare could become a reality unless we take immediate steps to educate the public and effectively manage this rapidly spreading disease known as Wong Long Bing. Centered on every classic Florida license plate is a prominent state symbol, the Florida orange. As a matter of fact, this image represents one of Florida's most lucrative industries, citrus farming. A $9 billion industry, citrus farming employs more than 76,000 people statewide. Florida provides the United States with 70% of its citrus supply. We have over 569,000 acres containing an astonishing 74 million citrus trees. All totaled, Florida's citrus industry generates $1 billion in tax revenues for public benefit, such as schools and highways. These numbers also tell us just how extensive and significant citrus farming is to the state of Florida. There is no question. The Sunshine State loves citrus. Lemons, grapefruits, key limes, pomelos, and kumquats are all used locally and globally. However, oranges are the most ubiquitous. We all love to sit down to the breakfast table with that tall glass of chilled orange juice, or simply devour the juicy segments of one that has been freshly picked from the tree. Undoubtedly, we love citrus, and the production is an essential economic imperative to the state of Florida. Now, let me turn the tables. What if Florida lost this $9 billion industry? To say the least, the effects would be catastrophic. 76,000 people would be unemployed. The United States would lose 70% of its citrus supply, causing the cost of this fresh fruit to increase exponentially. Moreover, the considerable amount of income that citrus farming generates is only one season away from being ripped out of the hands of every single Floridian. We are only a step away from this disaster, considering the impending threat to the citrus industry. Wong Long Bing, HLB, or citrus greening, is a very serious disease threatening Florida's economic status. HLB is spread by an infected Asian insect, no bigger than the tip of a pin, known as citrus psyllid. The symptoms that may first be noticed are yellowing of the veins on leaves. This is called blotchy mottle and most commonly used to identify HLB on sweet oranges. Often mistaken for mineral deficiencies such as manganese, zinc, and iron, it could also be confused for citrus trizera virus. However, nothing is quite as dreadful as the notorious HLB. According to citrus farmers around the state, HLB is virtually impossible to spot until the tree has been annihilated. Even if the disease is spotted, nothing can be done to stop HLB. To make matters worse, HLB is not even limited to Florida or the United States for that matter. The dilemma began in Brazil in July 2004 when HLB was first discovered. Since then, the subcontinent of India, Africa, Asia, and the Arabian Peninsula have also suffered in a decrease of citrus production because of this detrimental disease. Around a year after the discovery of HLB, it was identified on a small, family-owned citrus farm in South Florida. This was the beginning of a never-ending nightmare in the Sunshine State. The Asian insect citrus psyllid is the key to the spread of HLB. More specifically, it is the saliva of the insect that contains the disease-causing bacteria. This infection results in the flow of nutrients through the plant's circulatory system being blocked from the roots and the leaves. The destruction begins when the insect sucks on the leaf sap, leaving behind the disease-causing bacteria. The tree is starved of the necessary nutrients by the bacteria traveling through the phloem, or the tree's veins. Physically, the citrus remains green because of the saliva and is left with damaged roots. The citrus produced is green and deformed, not able to be sold for consumption or juice production. This does not sound serious. However, it is costing about $2,000 more per acre to grow citrus. For smaller citrus farmers, this is a catastrophe. In 2007, 2 years after HLB was first discovered in Florida, it already cost the state more than $3.6 billion in tax revenues and 100,000 acres of citrus. The industry lost nearly 8,800 jobs. The University of Florida has given citrus farmers hope for the future. Researchers at UF have found a way to exterminate an equal amount of citrus psyllid while using 200 times less insecticides. This will also help reduce the environmental footprint. The Department of Entomology and Nematology at UF is in the process of researching and developing an insecticide made from a commercial formulation of a basic insecticide. Stilinski, an associate professor of the department, is in the process of improving this standard insecticide by infusing nanodispensers with liquid that penetrates the surface of leaves and bark. Stilinski says, during the past 15 years, an explosion of research in micro and nanotechnologies has led to the development of a variety of techniques that allows for control of matter at microscopic levels never before seen. While this improved insecticide is still in the process of development, it is one of the biggest promises for the future of citrus production. According to Stilinski, the size of the molecule can be modified based on the situation as a way to make things simple. The molecules are about 500 times smaller than your eyelash. They have a low cost, they're economically efficient, and they are congenial with other organisms. Fred Jamitter, a horticultural researcher at the Citrus Research and Education Center, says once we understand the genes that cause the plant to be sensitive, or conversely, the genes that make another kind of citrus tolerant, then we have the targets that we can focus on, with new ways to repair the problems in the sensitive plants. Based on the research Jamitter and Stilinski have conducted, this seems to be the key to unlocking the clandestine secrets of HLB. Obviously, the effects of HLB are immense, and citrus farmers are suffering. The first step to a solution is awareness and education. As citizens of Florida, we should all make ourselves aware of this very serious issue. We can never expect to develop a viable solution if the problem is never presented. Citrus greening is a severe disease that merits our best efforts to minimize or eradicate the problem at the base. So the next time you are jolted out of bed by that dreaded alarm clock, remember, if you want to enjoy this delicious morning treat, we must all be committed to awareness, research, and education to ensure that our favorite breakfast drink is still on the dining room table.
Okay. What technology is showing the greatest results at the current time?
Actually, one of the best prevention methods available is the use of a biocide. And what this is a mix of 2 antibiotics that's sprayed onto the fruit. And it does not only treat HLB, but it also prevents canker and several other common citrus diseases. This is the best prevention method available. Now, there's also genetic modification that's a hot topic right now. And what they do is they take the gene from another kind of citrus that is immune to the HLB virus, and they put it into the gene of one that has been affected by this disease, and it virtually becomes immune to the virus. This has worked in the past. In the 1980s, the papaya industry was devastated by the ring spot virus in Hawaii. Now, under tourism, agriculture is the biggest industry in Hawaii, so this was a very big deal. And they took the gene from a papaya that was immune to the ring spot virus and put it into the gene of the Hawaiian papaya and saved the entire industry. This is, in my opinion, one of the best solutions we have available. There are several other methods, however, these are the ones that I believe are the most effective.
Okay. When a grove, first off, what is normal grove production? And then when a grove becomes infected, how much does it lower the production?
Normal grove production, to begin with, it takes several $1,000s to get a grove started, and even more if you have to buy land. You have to pay for irrigation, insecticides, genetically modified plants, and some trees are grafted, which are a little bit more expensive. So you can drop about $7,000 to $8,000 right off the bat. Most farmers are producing, or in the past before HLB, they were producing about 300 boxes of citrus. Now they're producing about half of that, and this is with the use of biocides and genetic modification. So we're still working on researching and developing a cure and prevention methods to up our production again.
Okay, they found this disease in that one grove you mentioned down in South Florida, a small family grove, and evidently it spread. How can we prevent it from spreading to non-contaminated groves? What measures are being taken or were taking place to keep this from happening?
This was a very tricky situation. It spread to Florida in 2005, in August of 2005, and by October 25th, it had already spread to 4 counties, and by June 16th of 2006, it was in 15. As of now, it's in at least 33 counties, and so the disease has spread rapidly. It was hard to